everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hollyoaks is set to air some distressing scenes for Leela Lomax as she continues to keep her mysterious baby secret. Leela has been out of sorts since the birth of her baby daughter Clara, and while Joel has settled into parenthood, she has seemed distracted. It was recently revealed during a private conversation with Mercedes that Leela doesn't believe Joel is the father of her baby, but she is desperate to make sure that he never knows any different. But Leela's secret looks threaten to be exposed in upcoming scenes when a difficult experience leads to suspicion. In scenes that will air next week, Frankie and Jack discover missing Darren's business cards abandoned in the woods. Worried about what this means, they set up a search party for him. As the village pulls together, Leela tries to get out of taking part in the search. She ends up coming along, but in the woods, she suddenly runs off. After the search, Frankie snaps in the dog, and she urges the people around her to tell her the truth and stop trying to protect her. Meanwhile, Joel is worried about his wife, so while helping prepare for her twins' christening, he asks Mercedes if she thinks anything is wrong with Leela. When he explains that Leela had a panic attack in the woods, Mercedes has a realization and rushes out. She tells Joel she is going to see Leela and leaves him to lock up Casa McQueen. Leela later storms out on Joel, and the next day he tells Perry that he thinks he knows why his wife has been acting strangely. The couple are reunited when they both arrive at the church for the christening. Joel is still in search of answers, but Leela doesn't feel able to tell him anything yet. Hollyoaks' new winter trailer reveals that Joel will confront Leela during the christening, suggesting she is cheating on him and questioning Clara's paternity. But what happened to Leela during the show's missing year, and will she be able to tell Joel the truth? Here's a creative take on a distressing Hollyoaks storyline featuring Leela Lomax and a secret involving a baby. Title: Unspoken Bonds. The Lomax household was unusually quiet, but the tension in the air was suffocating. Leela sat at the kitchen table, her hands trembling as she cradled a cup of tea she had no intention of drinking. Her sister, Stee, had just left after a heated argument about her recent distance. Perceptive as always, Stee had noticed her erratic behavior, but Leela wasn't ready to confide. How could she explain what she didn't yet fully understand herself? In the background, the sound of baby Daniel's cries pierced the silence. He wasn't hers, but the truth about his parentage was a burden she was struggling to carry. Flashback to the secret. Weeks ago, Leela had discovered something that shook her to her core. A chance encounter at the hospital had revealed a devastating mix-up. Her baby, born years ago under chaotic circumstances, might not have been stillborn as she had been told. A nurse, clearly racked with guilt, had admitted that another baby had been involved. A baby whose circumstances had never been properly explained. Leela's blood ran cold as the pieces of the puzzle began falling into place. Daniel, the baby boy being raised by her best friend Perry and Perry's boyfriend, Romeo, could be her biological son. The thought sent her spiraling into confusion and grief. Could it be true? And if it was, what was she supposed to do? Present day, the strain. Leela's world had begun to unravel. She found herself watching Daniel with an intensity that unsettled Perry. Every coo, every giggle, every little mannerism sparked a pang of recognition that she couldn't ignore. But confronting the truth felt impossible. What if it turned their entire world upside down? Perry had started to notice the tension too. She brought it up casually one day as they sat in the park. "You've been acting weird lately, Leela. Is everything okay?" Perry's voice was light, but her eyes were full of concern. Leela plastered on a smile, though it felt more like a grimace. "I'm fine, just work stress." Perry didn't look convinced, but before she could push further, Daniel began fussing in his stroller, providing a convenient distraction. Leela exhaled, relieved but also resentful of her own cowardice. A distressing turn. The breaking point came one evening when Leela babysat Daniel for Perry and Romeo. As the baby slept in the crib, Leela found herself pacing the room, consumed by a dangerous cocktail of anxiety and longing. She leaned over the crib, gently brushing a stray curl from Daniel's forehead. "Are you mine?" she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I need to know." Her voice must have disturbed him because Daniel stirred and let out a soft cry. Leela panicked, scooping him up and rocking him gently. The feel of him in her arms was overwhelming. It felt right. Suddenly the door creaked open, and Perry stood there, her face a mix of confusion and anger. "What are you doing, Leela?" she demanded, stepping into the room. "Why are you crying?" Leela froze, clutching Daniel tightly. I was just checking on him," she stammered, avoiding Perry's piercing gaze. "That's not just checking on him," Perry snapped. "You've been acting so strange lately, and now you're in here crying over my son. What's going on?" The truth comes out. Cornered, Leela knew she couldn't keep the secret any longer. She took a deep breath, her voice breaking as she began to speak. "Perry, I need to tell you something. It's about Daniel." Perry's face darkened. "What about him?" Leela's words tumbled out in a rush. She explained the hospital mix-up, the nurse's confession, and her growing suspicion that Daniel wasn't Perry's son. As the story unfolded, Perry's expression shifted from anger to disbelief to devastation. "Do you even hear yourself?" Perry shouted, her voice trembling. "You're saying Daniel is your baby? Do you know how insane that sounds?" "I didn't want to believe it either," Leela cried. "But I can't ignore the signs, Perry. We need to find out the truth." Perry shook her head violently, tears streaming down her face. "He's my son. I don't care what some nurse said, I've raised him, he's mine." The aftermath. The fallout from Leela's confession was immediate and explosive. Perry stormed out of the house with Daniel, refusing to let Leela near him until she had proof of her claims. Romeo, caught in the crossfire, tried to mediate but found himself torn between supporting Perry and understanding Leela's anguish. Meanwhile, Leela became consumed with finding answers. She demanded a DNA test, despite knowing it would shatter their fragile family bonds if her suspicions were confirmed. The village buzzed with rumors as the story leaked out. Friends and neighbors took sides, some sympathizing with Leela's plight, others condemning her for causing such upheaval. Steve tried to support his sister but struggled to hide his own doubts. "Leela, what if you're wrong?" he asked one evening. "What if Daniel really is Perry's?" "Then I'll live with that," Leela replied, her voice firm despite the tears in her eyes. "But I can't live with not knowing." A shocking twist. The day of the DNA test results arrived, and the tension was palpable. Leela, Perry, and Romeo gathered in the clinic, their emotions raw and unguarded. When the doctor finally revealed the truth, it felt like time stood still. Daniel was Leela's son. The revelation sent shockwaves through the room. Perry broke down, clutching Romeo for support as she sobbed uncontrollably. Leela felt a mix of vindication and heartbreak. She had her answer, but it came at a devastating cost. What's next? The revelation was just the beginning. The question of Daniel's future loomed over everyone. Would Leela fight for custody, or would she let Perry and Romeo continue to raise him? Could they find a way to co-parent, or was their relationship irreparably damaged? As the credits rolled, viewers were left with more questions than answers, eagerly anticipating the next episode to see how this emotionally charged storyline would unfold. This storyline not only delivers the drama Hollyoaks is known for but also explores themes of identity, motherhood, and the devastating consequences of secrets. It would be a compelling and heart-wrenching watch for fans of the show. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.